Fierce ladies, welcome to the Moms in Real Estate podcast, where we unleash our unapologetic power to share the raw truth of our journeys. Brace yourself for a dose of empowerment, education, and encouragement like never before. I'm Kristen, a relentless entrepreneur obsessed with connecting and uplifting fellow boss babes. In this podcast, we're all about getting down to business, conquering motherhood, nurturing relationships, and so much more. Get ready to dive into the nitty-gritty, embrace the hustle, and unravel the secrets of success in the world of real estate. We're here to ignite your fire, equip you with the knowledge, and unleash your limitless potential. Tune in as we redefine what it means to be a true boss babe. On Moms in Real Estate today, you're going to meet Allison, who is a New York native, and she loves fashion. She's a mom of 3, and she co-owns one of the top 10 New York City real estate teams. You guys are going to love her. Let's get started. All right, welcome to Moms in Real Estate, Allie. I am so excited to have you here because I can't even remember the last time we had somebody from New York on the podcast. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, why don't we get started? Tell everyone who you are and the area you serve, and then we'll go into just kind of your journey in real estate.
Sure. So my name is Allison Chiaramonte. I'm the co-founder of the Atelier team at Compass. We are predominantly focused on Manhattan, but we do parts of Brooklyn. So city girls over here. And I am the mom of 3 kids. And my journey in real estate, well, depending on whether you think about it as residential real estate or commercial real estate, either started 10 years ago or more like 22 years ago. I graduated from college and worked in commercial real estate for 2 years, doing investment property sales, which was like whole buildings. And at that point in time, thought that was the worst thing ever. And then I pivoted to residential real estate after like a whole career in fashion about 10 years ago.
That is so cool. And you're actually born and raised in New York. Is that right?
Yes, I am one of those people who has really never left New York except for college, and I only got as far as Philadelphia, so not that far.
Yeah, well, I'm born in... Oh, go ahead.
And I've lived in all different parts of Manhattan. Where are you born in?
Well, I was going to say I'm a native in Arizona, so I feel like when you meet a native, people get like all excited. And I'm sure in somewhere like New York, it's kind of like people are just probably like, oh my gosh, we don't have many people that are born and raised in natives here anymore, right?
That's true. And I think that many people consider themselves natives after they've been here 10 plus years. But I'm like, no, like, 40 plus years.
You're like, I'm the real native. Okay, so I just have to brag on you for a minute because I was reading before anybody comes on the Moms in Real Estate podcast, we have a questionnaire and we ask a little bit about like your production, and you are amazing. Like you are top 20 in New York, correct?
Yes, we're
top 20 team. And then you were the number 1 producer in your office for a while. You guys do 150 million in volume a year, your team. So that is really, really great. Is there like, I want to hear from when you first got into real estate, tell us kind of what that looked like in the residential side, not the commercial side. Maybe like what your business looked like in the beginning, and then maybe walk us into more of today's, what it looks like today.
Sure. So it obviously did not look like that when I started. I got into the business sort of trying to find myself post having my first child. I was buying and selling my own property at the time, and I was licensed because I had that lingering license from when I was in commercial real estate, and was thinking about all these part-time consulting gigs in fashion. And I was just chit-chatting with my realtor at the time, who were a wonderful and very successful mother-daughter team. And the mother there said, why are you thinking about all these sort of weird 3-month projects when, you know, you could do what we do for the rest of your life? And I kept on thinking about that. And I kept on thinking about how while we were going through our buy and sell, I was so interested and enjoying the process so much. And I said, you know, what the hell, let's try. So I basically interned for them, far too old to be an intern at that moment, for a few months to get my feet wet. And then they offered me a position on the team as, you know, an assistant / junior level agent. And I did that for about a year and a half, and I made very little money and worked a lot. And at the time, I vacillated from loving it to thinking I was completely crazy. And I think my husband thought I was pretty crazy at the time. But after about a year and a half with them, I went off on my own to a new company, and that was sort of the beginning for me. And then things, I feel so lucky, but things really did take off pretty quickly after branching out on my own. But those first few years are rough.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about how you almost kind of have to put in that time, the rough times. And once you get through it, you're like, oh, you look back and you're like, gosh, that was really tough.
Yes.
When you went on your own, I mean, right now I look at your brand and I'm like, I love her brand. It's just so bold and like, I just feel like it's so elegant. And when you went out on your own, was that like a big focus of yours?
So, no, frankly, when I went out on my own, I was scared. I was leaving a big team and a big company, and I was going to a much more boutique brokerage at the time, a brokerage here called Warburg, which was sort of an independent that now has joined Coldwell Banker. So now is part of a big brokerage, but at the time was very small. And I was thinking about joining another team there. Apparently, I just didn't quite feel ready. And it was really, I have to give credit to the sort of management at Warburg who said, like, why are you joining another team? Like, you can do this on your own. We're going to help you. And I didn't have per se a personal brand that I knew how to get out there in a coherent way then. But they sort of gave me the push and the boost that, I could do this on my own.
I love
And
that.
really, yeah.
You
And so I
really
think,
go ahead.
I think that, um, when I moved from Brown Harris, which is bigger, to Warburg at the time, people kind of wondered about that move. And it was actually one of the best things I could have ever done, going a little smaller to start.
Yeah. And then, so when did your brand come about?
So the brand in its current formation, which is the Atelier team, happened somewhat organically. While I was at Warburg, another agent who I previously worked with at Brown Harris came over, and her and I always personally got along and thought, it would be fun to work together one day down the road, but we were both trying to sort of establish ourselves and in different points. She's someone who had been been an agent since college, where I was still more of a career transition agent. And we just started helping each other. And organically, we realized that like we could do a lot more together. Um, and then it was just the two of us, and it was just sort of Allie and Tanya. And then we grew and we got an assistant. And it was really when we left Warburg for Compass, which happened because Coldwell Banker bought Warburg, that Compass said, you really need a brand. You need to sort of, if you want the team to grow, if you want it to be more than the two of you, you need to think about that. And the brand sort of became a meld of, her personality and my personality, but also really thinking forward and wanting down the road the brand to be able to be not just Allie or Tanya, but the other agents. And that's sort of where the Atelier came in, because the A and the T is obviously a reference to Allie and Tanya, but Atelier just means workshop. So
Yeah, I think it sounds really nice. And I love that because I always say two is better than one and we go further together. And I love an organic partnership like you've experienced and how it's grown into something that, now you guys have this great business together. How has being a partnership with her, how's that been?
honestly, it's one of the best things that has come out of this job for me, is sort of the friendship and partnership that her and I have built in sort of this work family that, the lines are now totally blurred between work family and we're friends and our husbands are friends.
Love that.
It's been such a bonus. And I feel so lucky because I know that not every partnership can go like that, but especially as a working mom, she's a few years younger than me. And as I said, she's been doing this since college. So she brought different skills and a different background to the table, but also she's in a little bit of a different phase of life.
Yeah.
And so there was a period of time where I was pregnant, I was with toddlers, having young babies, and she didn't have any babies at home. And she filled in for me. She was, running around covering things that I couldn't make. And now she has a 1-year-old, and it's, even though I still have 3 kids and they're bigger, they have sort of different needs, and I can fill in for her in a different way.
Well, I think it's such an important message to our audience because they are moms in real estate, and a lot of them really want a partnership like that. They don't even know where to start. And I think that I would just encourage you, if you're thinking about that, definitely try to lean into your local real estate communities that you have and start to meet people, because when you really find somebody, we just had another duo on our podcast recently, Gabe and Addie, and it's just so great when you find somebody that you can do business and life with.
Yes, it makes it so much better. It makes it so much more fun. And I do think it really does make us stronger agents and
Yeah.
better able to represent our clients, not just purely like in the physically, like, yes, there are more people here to take showings and bring people out, but different ideas, different perspectives, and a wider network.
Yeah. Well, and I think just as you grow in your business too, you're gonna have. Do you guys have anybody besides you guys? Is it you two and like an admin? Do you guys have a TC? What does it look like?
So it's a little bit in flux, but the way it's structured now is it's me and my partner, and then we have 4 people underneath not underneath, working with us on the team.
Yeah.
3 of them are really sort of pure agents, who have their own businesses, but also support our business. And then we have Sarah, who's sort of been with us since our days at Warburg, who has grown from our assistant to sort of a right-hand key player and director of ops, sort of an all hats person. And then as we've gotten busier, we've layered in a marketing consultant, a virtual assistant, and we're kind of trying to actually figure out now what sort of that next org chart should look like so that we can do more.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so fun. So tell us, like, what is your specialty? Like, have you built a referral based business now? Do you focus on YouTube? Where do you get most of your business from?
So we get, I'd say 95% of the business is referral based. It's really word of mouth, friends of friends, friends of colleagues, repeat clients recommending. There's not a lot of cold business. As in the last year or two, I feel like now people are starting to find us online or searching like best realtors on the Upper East Side, and somehow in Google's magic behind the scenes, we're starting to pop up. I'm not really sure why.
You're like, I
But
want to come up with that search. Absolutely.
yeah, it's like I'm happy we're coming up, but
Yeah.
I have no idea why. I've heard that now a few times in the last 6 months and never heard it before, but I'll
That's
take
good.
it. But it's really word of mouth for us.
Do you guys do any community events?
We do. My Tanya's become very involved in a few sort of cancer related groups, charity events, and is sort of really focusing on that because both her and her husband were affected by that. So it's something that's very close to them. And I am very involved in my children's schools and a few other causes. And we've had a few like sort of events, but we always talk about how it's like our grand plan to do something for clients and their families, and we haven't motivated to that yet.
Yeah.
Do you have any good for all yours?
Events are definitely hard, but they are so much fun when you get into them. So
I can imagine.
Let's talk about what you're looking forward to for yourself and for the team. Is there anything that you guys are working on besides finding that like next person that's going to go into your guys's like org chart? What else are you guys working on?
I think we're working on, we're working on, I think all realtors are always working on this, sort of climbing up the luxury ladder and increasing price points. Obviously we work at every price point, but sort of moving our average prices north and having people on the team also kind of grow and move from rentals to sales to bigger sales. So sort of having everyone's average price point go up. I think also we're really working on trying to streamline and systematize like the atelier buying and selling experience so that it feels the same no matter whether you're working with me or someone on the team. that they're the same steps, the same processes, that it all looks and feels the same. We're not there yet, but that's sort of a big goal that we're working on.
I have a great girl to connect you with, and I will definitely plug her right now because she has a company called Core Ops Collective, is what I think it's called. Her name's Lauren Duke, and she helps teams do exactly what you're looking to do.
That's amazing. And she does it from the outside, like not being a director of ops
Oh
in.
yeah. Yeah, she literally she can do it with for anybody, any state. And I have personal friends who are team leaders who have hired her that love her. So definitely a
Ooh.
shout out to her. Because that's hard to find and that's hard to do.
Yes. And I'm trying to lean into AI, and we have a virtual assistant and using that more. But part of me is very old school in the sense that I'm like, oh, maybe I need someone just sitting in the office all day to take my calls, like, when I'm out showing apartments and like manning the ship.
Yeah.
But that's obviously an option, but those people are hard to find, and less people are interested in those roles these days, it seems.
Yeah, the more I've leaned into like not like more like having a virtual business, it's been so great because you meet so many people. You have no like walls on where they can be from, and you just meet so many great talented people.
Right. And I feel like you learn more that way in some ways.
Yes. Okay, so tell us a little bit about selling in New York. Is there anything like you would say is like really fun for you that you're like, this is really New York specific?
I mean, I think that what is sort of cool and different about New York is the fact that we're so based in building. Obviously, we sell townhouses, but
Yeah.
we're so based in buildings that, you go into versions of the same apartment you've seen. You sell an apartment on the floor 4 in an A line on Park Avenue, and then 3 years later, you're walking into an A line on the 8th floor, and like you remember that other apartment. You have ideas based on that apartment. And for me, growing up in the city, I walk into apartments sometimes and I don't even realize it. And I'm like, holy crap, this is the same line as my best friend from first grade. And I didn't even think about the fact that, like, yes, she did live here, from kindergarten to fourth, and sort of
That's
the
wild.
seeing these apartments go through different iterations and different versions of themselves. And then I also think what is probably fun for other realtors, but it always amazes me, is like what a small town New York is,
Really?
and how there is this real matchmaking element. I find, at least in sort of our core neighborhoods, of putting buyers and sellers together. And, when you have that aha moment and you're in an apartment and you realize it's the right apartment for another client, even if they've seen it online and vetoed it, like, that's the best feeling.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's just so different everywhere. So I love to get a little perspective. So being a mom in real estate, you have 3 kids and they are young. So it's juggling a lot. And I even said, earlier, 2 is better than 1 when you're running your business, but also having like a business partner and just business friends that you can do business with, but then also like the kids, right? So it's like you do both together. What does that look like for you guys?
For us, since so on our team, besides me and Tanya has 1 child, we have 4 other people, 2 of whom are also moms, and actually each have 1 kid. So I'm sort of the more experienced mom, not that I always know better. But I feel like there's a lot of sort of crowdsourcing and sharing of information, products, just the kind of chat you would have with your mom and friends,
Yeah.
but helping each other find nannies, and, who makes the best, delivery service for whatever it is for you need for your kid, or what camp or school, or going through those processes together. I definitely feel like I get to sort of share some of what I've learned with them, but then also it comes back to me. And then, I feel like everyone's a team player in the sense that I've been in a moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, so and so's sick at school, but I'm about to go into a major pitch, and we all really chip in. Like, the
Yeah.
first offer is like, can I go cover the showing for you? Or if I can't do that, can I go get your kid?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think that's like the biggest thing is when you have that community of other moms that they get it, right? So they're also building businesses and then they see you in that moment. They're like, oh my gosh, I can help right now. And I think it's important to have those relationships in real estate.
Yes. And I think also because it can be a very personal business and it's a little different here in New York where you have a co-op process, which is very sort of financially invasive. Having a team and having other team members can allow you to work with people who are very private and
Yeah.
not have to have them perhaps reveal information that they're not comfortable with directly to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been so much fun getting to know you. I want to do some rapid fire questions with you. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
All right. So, what is your favorite coffee order?
Iced cappuccino, whole milk with one Splenda.
With one Splenda. Okay. What is a book that has been very impactful to you in your business or as a mom?
So, not my business, and this is kind of a weird answer, but I'm in this book club and we've read a lot of books where kids have gone through very tough situations, and this is didn't impact my business, but we recently read Demon Copperhead, which is like a very sort of heavy book about the opioid crisis, which is not something that I think about, but there was something about this book and the story of this boy, and I have two sons,
Okay.
and sort of his parents and how his parents or his lack of parents like affected him that really like hit me very deeply about, you know, how lucky my own children are, but also how much parents affect their kids and also how easy it is for things to go awry.
Hmm.
So it didn't help my business, but I think it sort of was a real wake up call for me about being a little more present as my kids are still young, but kind of especially in that next phase because it's about slightly older children.
Yeah.
Um, just what can happen, what's out there, and how it just brought some things closer to home that I think I live in a pretty sheltered world sometimes here, sort of in New York.
Yeah.
And it made me think about things. And then I also, this is kind of, I mean, I think How to Win Friends and Influence People
I
is
love that
also
one.
a good book. So, but I feel like that's a cliched answer that everyone says.
Well, I'm going to read that other book for sure because, I have two boys around the same age as your kids, and I feel like I love that. And if you're not in a book club, you got to get in a book club because, yes, reading workbooks is great and self help books is great, but there's something about being in a book club and just reading for pleasure that I think a lot of times moms get out of when they're building their business. And I think that you've got to be in it all the time because it is just so fantastic.
I was only reading business books for a while. And now that I'm thinking about it, there's so many other ones that I like. But I feel like lately I've been on this kick of really reading fiction, and Demon Copperhead is heavy and we've read some lighter ones as well. But the book club has been so fun.
So fun. And if you don't have one around you, just do one yourself. Create it.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Most impactful system that you have in your real estate business.
The most impactful system we have is we have a weekly Monday meeting, first thing
Yes.
Monday morning. And it sometimes gets moved and it sometimes gets pushed. But basically, before noon on Monday, at least Tanya and I sit down in front of like Compass has a pretty intense business tracking system where
Mhm.
every deal is in there and we go through. And sometimes it feels like we're wasting time doing that, going, oh, like this is nothing. We're waiting for this, we're waiting for that. But I feel like that checkpoint each week is so important to reminding yourself what you need to do, reminding yourself to reach out to people. That's been a real, like, I feel like that's like the one cardinal rule because we don't have we're working on our systems, but that is like the crux of the week for me. If we don't have that Monday meeting early on, I feel like the week has gone very wrong already.
It is probably, I'd have to answer the same thing because we call it our weekly level 10, and Mondays is for that for every business, right? So we do it for Moms in Real Estate, not the podcast, but for the Facebook group because it's a whole animal. And I do it for our Hello Culture business and for our real estate leg. And it's like, it's crazy because sometimes, like you're saying, like you almost feel like you're wasting your time sometimes, but really you get so much done. And there's just like that saying, like out of sight, out of mind. So if you're all of a sudden like honed in on everything that's going on, it like just puts stuff in front of your face that you might otherwise forget about. So we love it. And we track everything for our weekly meetings on Asana. That's been very helpful too.
Do you like Asana?
I love Asana. Love, love, love it.
Our marketing consultant, who's great, is very into Asana, but I have not fully embraced it yet.
You should embrace it. Yeah. And what I like about it the most is that as I create projects, I just can assign everything. So like my assistant, my marketing girl, my director of the client experience, like whenever there's a task that they need to do while I'm building out the project, I get to assign it with a date and they get an email. So it just really like allows for me to be in the zone creating projects and everybody know about it. Then we'll talk about it on our level 10.
Right.
So you're going to do it. Okay, my last question is, if you were to go build a real estate team from scratch with a celebrity, who would it be?
That is a good question. I think I would want it to be someone funny.
Yeah, that would be a good answer.
I know.
But who's funny that I'd want to go in business with?
I'm like, Tina Fey? I'm trying to think who.
Kristen Wiig would be my answer.
That is a good answer.
She's so funny.
Someone funny and smart, because if it can be soul wrenching at times and depressing, and so I feel like being able to keep the light would be amazing.
Is Tanya funny?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone, like, if you first met her, if you would say that, but I think she's very funny.
When you get to know her. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a blast having you on. And if somebody is looking to connect with you, share your 2 Instagrams, your personal and your team.
So my personal is at Allie Loves NYC, which is ALLI Loves NYC. And then we are Atelier Team NYC.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was so fun to be with you.
Thanks, friend, for listening to the podcast. We love having you in our community. If you enjoyed our podcast, please leave us a review or share it with a friend. Also, we'd love to connect with you on Instagram. Go follow us at Moms in Real Estate.